Hey guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available summer 2025. The album, Dad. Shimmy, shimmy, AF. Rock on, gold dust. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Boost! How are you guys doing today? Today is a get ready with me. And by get ready with me, I mean we are going to use two products. Today I'm going to go in with the Magic Mermaid number 5 from Treat Beauty. We're going to go in with that. And then we're going to go in with, I don't even know what lip gloss this is. I think it's I just got it on my tooth. Don't you hate that? It reminds me of my mom. When I was growing up, she always had lipstick on her tooth. Anyway, my mom used to also take her lipstick, which she used Clinique Salmon Ice, for years and years and years. Whenever I say that, people are confused. They're like, I thought you were saying like Salmon Ice, like Mike and Ike's or something like that. I don't know. Remember Mike and Ike's from back in the day? Salmon, like the fish, ice. So it's like if you saw a salmon glittery, like that's what it looked like. You know, when the fish like jump out of the water, you can see them. Okay, that's what she used it for like 20 years. Like I don't even know if they still make it, but it was by Clinique. And then when she would leave the house, she'd sometimes go like that, and she'd like just forget to rub in one side and be like, Mom, that's lipstick. And she goes, it's basically rouge. Which when I said that in a video like 5 years ago, somebody was like, it is basically rouge. I didn't know that. But anyway, so then we're going to go in with the Chanel lip gloss. I'm almost out of it, which is fine because I really like the Fenty Bomb so much better. But anyway, and I have to make sure I don't get it in the corners of my mouth because that's weird. And then I watch it because that's weird. And, I mean, it is. And then I watch it back and it's like stuck in the corners of my mouth and it drives me crazy. And I don't have my reading glasses on, so I can't really see if it looks well or not. It looks okay, I guess. I can't really tell. You guys are like, no, you don't have good enough reading glasses on. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? I have to say, you know, in a lot of the music that I cover over here, I mean, I've covered, I feel like, so many people's music over here and dissed it. And I did diss that song by Jeffree Star because I think it sounds like MySpace from 15 years ago, which it basically is. But it is kind of catchy, I will say that. I find myself walking around the house before I make a drama video going, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Old friends, career, dead. Hi, how are ya? So anyway, I just got back. I have my meditation books here to go over to my Peterisms channel to read some meditations. And then I'm going to do a haul, a shopping haul. I do like 5 hauls a week over on my Peter Does Stuff channel. And then I'm going to, on my Peter Watches TV channel. So for those of you that do not know, I started a channel about a year ago and I revamped it about 6 months ago. Now I cover everything. I was just doing reality TV. It's called Peter Watches TV. It's linked below. Please go subscribe to it. I'm having so much fun over there. But now I cover everything. I cover all the trending shows on Netflix and Apple and stuff. And then I also cover a lot of true crime, which today I'm going to do Family Secrets, The Disappearance of Alyssa Turney, which I just watched last night on Peacock. I cover all the reality shows over there, The Housewives, everything like that. So please go check it out. I'm having so much fun on that channel. So I've got a couple videos I'm going to make today. I just got back from Cousin Fun Day, and I had a very interesting conversation with my cousin Caroline. So for those of you that do not know my cousin Caroline, we're like brother and sister. She was like, she's an only child. I'm an only child. She's 3 years older than me. And so we have just been really, really close for a very long time. So anyway, our mothers were only sisters. And so they were very, very close. And then our grandma, we found out after my mom passed away, we found out through my dad that my grandma, our mom's mom, had actually gone to prison. And we think now twice, maybe 3 times. I think 3 times. Caroline thinks 2 times. But anyway, we know it definitely for embezzlement, but we also think for like fraud. She was like OG. We're not even definitely not sure that she wasn't working for like the mafia and things like that. So anyway, starting in January, we're going to look into that, and there will be a documentary series coming soon to a channel called Peter Monn. So anyway, we were going to do a podcast called Cousin, and then we're not really sure about that anymore. She just said to me in the car, she's like, see, this is why a podcast would be so good. Because we were counting, and she was like, I was like, I don't even know why we started counting, just to do stuff like that with your friends. And I was like, 1, and she goes, and 2, and I go, and 3, and she goes, and 4, and I went, and 5, and she goes, and 6, and we went all the way, and went 7, and 8, and 9, and then I go, and 10, and she goes, and 11, I go, no 11, we just do 10, and she started laughing. She goes, see, this is why we need to do a podcast. And before that, we had this conversation, because Julia Hey, Julia! Girl, listen, let me tell you about some Julia, okay? Julia ain't got nothing to do. I don't know what Julia's doing. She asked for a shout out. Here's her shout. No, she didn't ask for one. I asked her. I said, do you want a shout out or do you want to stay anonymous? And she was like, no, that would be really sweet. I can't believe you respond to. I try to respond to most of the messages I get, but if they're nice. But Showers was very nice. She sent me some receipts of Jeffree Star today in a live stream. And so I was like, well, I wish I had Julia's live to just sit around and watch Jeffree Star's live streams. No, anyway, but thank you so much thank you so much, Julia, for sending me these two clips, which we're going to watch in just a second. So I was thinking about work it at the car wash app. I love that song so much. Anyway, so I was like driving around with my cousin Caroline. We were coming home, and she was like, "What's your videos about today?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna do this haul because I bought all this dog stuff for Little Boo Radley." And I said, so it's going to be like a dog shopping haul. And then I said, I was telling her what I was doing, and she hadn't watched that show yet. She's going to watch it tonight. And then I was like, I think I'm going to do this video about Jeffree Star. And I go, do you know who Jeffree Star is? Now, my cousin Caroline is somebody that watches a ton of TikToks. She's watched a lot of YouTube. She is like, she keeps up with it, okay? It's not like she lives in a cave. Like, Caroline is very in tune with what's going on in the world, okay? And I said, do you know who Jeffree Star is? And she goes, yeah, he's like that makeup mogul guy. And I go, yeah. And she's like, and didn't he have a music career before that? I said, yes, his music career. Hi, how are you? Started on MySpace. He was on the Warped Tour. She's like, yeah, I think I remember all that from back in the day. And so we were talking about it. And I said, can I ask you about some names? And she said, sure. And I go, do you know who Trisha Paytas is? And she goes, I've never heard of her before. And I go, do you know who Shane Dawson is? And she goes, I've never heard of him before. And so I went through, like, I said, Toddy Westbrook, James Charles. She was like, I know James Charles. She's like, because he was the one that got in all the trouble for talking to those young guys, right? And I go, how did you know about that? She goes, it was all over the news. How do you not know about that? Well, the person that wrote the article in Cosmopolitan magazine, he didn't know about it, or she didn't know about it. Okay, I think it was she, Gabrielle Bluestone. She didn't know. She had to take a poll with her friends, but even my cousin Caroline, she don't keep up with it that much, and she knew who James Charles was, okay, that you wouldn't want him talking to your teenage kid. So anyway, and so I'm going through all these names, and Caroline doesn't know anything. She goes, what happened to that Marbles girl? And I go, Jenna Marbles? She goes, no. She goes, I think her name is Gina. I go, her name's not Gina. Her name was Jenna. And she goes, I used to watch her every day. I think I would know. I go, Caroline, her name was not Gina. She goes, no, you're right. It was Jana. I go, Caroline, it was not Jana. It was Jenna Marbles. She goes, I don't think you're right. I think I know. I used to watch her videos with her cute little dogs every day. I'm pretty sure that her name was Jana. And she goes, maybe it was Gina. It was definitely not Jenna. And I go, Caroline, her name is Jenna. She goes, well, anyway, what happened to her? Did she leave? And I go, yeah, she left. And she goes, why? And I go, well, she just kind of had enough of it. And she goes, that would be nice. And I go, what? And she goes, I just kind of one day just want to have enough of it and just be like, I'm done. I'm leaving. And I go, girls trip for life. Because my cousin goes on like 8 girls trips a year, right? And she's like, yes. It's like, she's like, girls trip for life. She's like, that's what I want to do, a girls trip for life. I go, that's not really what Gina Marbles is doing these days. She goes, see, I told you it was Gina. It's not Jenna. I go, Caroline, do you want me to pull it up for you? She goes, you don't have to prove me wrong because I already know it's Gina. She goes, or Jana. I go, okay, let me ask you a question. I go, who's your favorite celebrity of life? And she goes, I don't really have a favorite celebrity of life. And I go, and she's obsessed with Miss Peaches, the dog, and I'm obsessed with Thumbelina, the squirrel. And we always get in these arguments over who's the better, right? The rescue animals. And so I said, well, you love Miss Peaches. She goes, oh my God, I love Miss Peaches. If I can meet Miss Peaches, she goes, after that I said, what about Taylor Swift? She goes, I don't really care that much about Taylor Swift. I go, yeah, I don't either. I mean, I like Taylor Swift's music, so please don't come for me and, try to like stalk me and murder me and things like that. But anyway, Taylor Swift's just okay. I love that song of hers, You're on Your Own Kid. Oh my God, I love that song so much. But anyway, so I was like, she goes, but do you know what about Taylor Swift? And I go, what? And she goes, Mrs. Peach's dad, she goes, and she knows his name and everything like that. She goes, he made a jacket for Miss Peaches that has all of Taylor Swift's tour dates on the back of it. Miss Peaches has her own specially made Taylor Swift jacket. I go, oh, okay. And she goes, and you know what else? And I go, what? And she goes, guess what Miss Peaches just got? And I go, what did she get? And she goes, she got a brother. She goes, I think it's, what'd she say? It's like Beagle or something, but his name's Pete or something like that, just like you. And I go, oh, that's so nice. I got a rescue dog named after me. So I said, okay, if you could meet Taylor Swift or Peaches, Miss Peaches. She goes, Miss Peaches! And I go, okay, if you could meet Thumbelina the squirrel or she goes, obviously Miss Peaches. I said, if you could meet, because she loved Janet Jackson back in the day in high school. I go, if you could meet Janet Jackson or Miss, she goes, Miss Peaches. She goes, that's a stupid question. And so I said, who is your like favorite celebrity? She goes, I like those girls from the Today Show. She goes, but I don't really know their names. And I go, okay, the girls from Today Show or Miss Peaches? She goes, Miss Peaches. I go, okay, if you could spend one day, because her mom and my mom are both passed away, and her grandma. And I said, if you could spend one more day with your mom or meet Miss Peaches. She goes, oh, she goes, well, I would spend one more day with my mom. I go, okay, that's a good answer. And I said, if you could spend one more day with my mom or Miss Peaches. And she goes, Miss Peaches. I go, Caroline. She goes, well, she goes, I mean, you know, like your mom and I, we like had a good relationship, which I go, if you could spend one more day with grandma, okay, eating loose meat sandwiches, getting to ask her every question in the world. And she goes, oh, grandma over Miss Peaches any day. So that was our conversation in the phone, or in the car. My cousin Caroline knows nobody but Miss Peaches, apparently, and Gina Marbles. She knows Jana Marbles, but it's not Jenna Marbles. She's sure of that. So anyway, so that was our conversation in the car. But then I came home and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down right away while little Boo Radley's still taking a nap, and I'm going to make this Jeffree Star video. Okay, so I was actually kind of surprised about this when I watched it. So Julia, thank you, Julia, for sending me these clips. So she sent me these 2 clips, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a little preface to these clips before I get into it. In these clips, it's Jeffree Star, and he is reviewing, I think, like, Patrick Starr's makeup or something like that. And it's like a live stream that he's doing. And there's like 2.3 thousand people in this live stream. And while he's in there, she said she didn't get it recorded when he starts talking about it, when he says her name, but he's talking about Mikayla Nogueira. And because I asked her, I said, who's he talking about, Mikayla? And she's like, yeah, he's been talking about her for a while, but these are the only 2 clips I got. Actually, she got a lot. She got like 4 minutes of it with 2 clips. And so he's talking about Mikayla Nogueira. And what he talks about in there is that Mikayla Nogueira blocked him like a year ago because he supposedly called her out on her lies about wearing fake eyelashes during Lashgate. And then he goes in to talk about how much she gets paid for sponsorships and how many sponsored posts she's doing and all this kind of stuff. Now, I think this is rather interesting in the fact that he is choosing to come out and talk about this now, okay? For several different reasons. He talks about how people for years have always wanted to make him the villain, and he's not the villain, and they just want to make him the villain because he's always been honest. He's always told the truth. That's why Jeffree Star is the villain. And that people ask him a lot, why does he have an issue with Mikayla Nogueira? And he's like, my issue with her is that she's a liar, okay? And that she's ruining the reputation of the beauty influencer space, is basically what he says. And so he goes in there and he's like, people for years have been trying to make me the villain. I mean, he always says that. That's his go-to, is that he's the villain, and it's because he's telling the truth. And I'm like, first of all, this is not adding up to me the way that I remember this whole Mikayla Nogueira thing going down, number 1. Number 2, the other part of that is that you being a villain because you tell the truth. I don't think that's why people have made you the villain through the years. I think the reason, and I mean, I've covered drama commentary for 8 years. People tell me all the time, I talk about Jeffree Star. Oh, by the way, there's a couple people on my channel that people literally lose their shit when I talk about, Trisha Paytas being one. I didn't even want to make the video the other day because I knew I was just going to get so much negativity in response to it. No matter what I would have said, positive or negative, I would have got a lot of hate for it, and I did. And that's why I don't talk about Trisha Paytas anymore, to be honest with you. It's just really not even worth it to me. Okay, my mental health is a lot more valuable to me than me talking about Trisha Paytas, okay? The other person is Colleen Ballinger. I've received so much negativity talking about Colleen Ballinger in the last year, but I think it's important to continue to talk about Colleen Ballinger, so I will. And the third person that people just lose their shit if I talk about is Mikayla Nogueira, okay? Well, Jeffree Star has now come out in a dedicated live stream and just shredded Mikayla Nogueira, so please take that hatred towards Jeffree Star if you have it towards me, because I'm just bringing you the information, okay? I'm not telling you not to follow Mikayla Nogueira. I'm not saying any of that kind of stuff. I'm telling you what the information is. So when all these people want to come for me over Mikayla Nogueira, okay, you can take that right over to Jeffree Star steps, unless you're afraid to, because he has a lot more clout. So let's go for the person that's getting 4,000 views because he's easier to come for. I get it, okay? I ain't afraid to go for the top dogs up there, okay? But you come for little old Peter Monn over here that's getting 4,000 to 5,000 views a video. You don't take it to Jeffree Star. Come right over to me, okay? Come right over to me. But I ain't afraid to talk about them top dogs, okay? So anyway, but we're going to talk about that. But I just kind of remember this a lot differently. I mean, he always talks about this, you know, everybody wants to make me the villain because I tell the truth. In 8 years of covering Jeffree Star, and I don't really remember him, and I like people, I said, you know, people always say I always talk about the same 5 or 6 people. I know Jeffree Star, like, I've watched him for so long, I know him pretty well, right? And so, I know his ins and outs and how he does things. I know the things that he's been accused of. I don't remember anybody accusing Jeffree Star of being a villain because he's so honest. I remember Jeffree Star being accused of being, and I don't remember anybody ever accusing Jeffree Star of being a villain, actually. I remember people accusing him of being a shitty person. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody in a video say he's a villain. I think he wants to think of himself as a villain because in any movie that you watch, like, you know, the Batman movies and all that kind of stuff, or the superhero movies, my husband watches those, I don't. The Marvel and DC comic, the villain, although bad, is always kind of like sexy, mysterious, and very powerful. And I think that's how he likes to think of himself. I actually think Jeffree Star wants the world to think of him as a villain. I've never really thought of Jeffree Star as a villain. I thought of Jeffree Star as kind of a shitty person, honestly. I mean, if I've said it in a video or two, whatever. But because that's always his go-to, is everybody's always made me the villain. No, if they have, I don't know that I've ever heard that. But I think people think you're a shitty person because of your racist allegations of the past that continue to come up over and over and over again, no matter how many, you know, apologies you make. It's still, like, you don't show any change. They still come up. The way that you've talked to people, specifically women, and you continue to do that, okay? Bashing people for their looks, calling people names, things like that. Like, and I just covered that like a month ago. So you're still doing that. You haven't changed. The language you use, the way that you cuss people out, the way that you retaliate. I mean, those are the things that I think people have said. As a CEO of a makeup company, you don't treat people very well, okay? Yes, I think your friends have a huge part of that in the past. I think maybe they weren't that great at people either. But I think, you know, if you take a look at that, Jeffree, you are a huge part of those friendships falling apart, okay? I also think that consistently, since I've been covering you for 8 years, 8.5 years, you know, almost, you haven't been a very good person through the, well, 8 years and a month, I guess. You haven't really been that great of a person to people. And you take periods where you kind of like, you know, have a break and stuff from that. I think it's interesting that, you know, there's this rumor right now that he doesn't deal with liars. He won't tolerate liars at all. He's not going to deal with liars. He's not going to have anything to do with them. He says it in this. You can watch him. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of rumors that you're going on Trisha Paytas' podcast. Now, Trisha Paytas is somebody that his supposed best friend, Shane Dawson, told me was a pathological liar, okay? That Trisha Paytas was a pathological liar. And in my video the other day, everybody was like, there was a lot of people that were like, Trisha Paytas, a liar? Who? Like, we've been knowing that for years. Trisha's lied. She can't keep up with her lies, whatever. So if Jeffree Star goes on Trisha Paytas' podcast, but comes out in this Mikayla Nogueira bashing live stream and says he doesn't deal with liars, is it that he has an issue with liars, or is it that he has an issue with Mikayla Nogueira? And I've said for a while, I think he has an issue with Mikayla Nogueira, and I'm not saying that I think Mikayla Nogueira is that it has that much integrity at all, because I don't, okay? I don't think Mikayla Nogueira has any integrity. I think she'd do anything for the dollar. I think that's all she really cares about. I hope she's saving it, because I don't think her career is going to last forever on TikTok. I just don't. So, you know, but is it, I've always thought Jeffree Star, because he went over to TikTok because he said the views weren't on YouTube anymore. He gets good views on TikTok, but he ain't getting a sponsor. He said on there, he goes, I mean, Jeffree Star's kind of made it clear for years he wasn't going to do sponsorships and stuff like that, but he ain't getting the clout that Mikayla Nogueira is getting. I mean, she's the boss lady over on TikTok as far as the beauty influencer space. I think that pisses him off. I just said in one of my last videos, Jeffree Star always has to be the smartest person in the room, the most powerful person in the room. He has to be the most conniving person in the room. That's why he wants, if I can't be the hero, I want to be the villain. And so that's why he always brings it up and puts it in people's mind, I'm the villain, right? So when I was watching these TikToks, thanks to Julia, I was like, this is not necessarily how I remember it. So let's watch these two TikTok lives that she sent me, and you guys can see, they're long, and then I will respond to them in 2 and 2.
Dollars. I used to get the same offers all the time in the YouTube era. It's now even worse. A brand will pay her $150,000 for one post. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. $150,000 for one post is what she does. I only make money off of my views. No one pays me to ever do anything on TikTok. And there's nothing wrong with sponsorships. Make your money, get your bag, hustle, do you. I'm not beefing with anybody, I'm just speaking the fucking facts. Okay? And a lot of consumers and customers are allowing someone like that, who we all know is a full liar. Everyone talks about mascara gate. No. When I exposed her for lying and putting on falsies for her mascara, a lot of people thought it was funny. A lot of people thought it was just entertainment. Whatever. She's cool. I like watching her. That moment in history validated all of her lies. It said, look, I got more attention, more money, and more views from it, and I even got Jeffree Star to talk about it. So instead of slowing it down and having any sort of repercussions for lying, everyone just validated those feelings for her. So she did more lies, more posts, more sponsors, and she does sponsored posts every week. It's her business. Hundreds of thousands of dollars weekly. Off of TikTok, she probably makes millions just a month. Just in sponsorships alone, not even her video views. It is what it is, you guys. And no, it's not shit talking at all. I'm just giving you guys a perspective from a consumer and a brand owner. So I'm not surprised she said that these were overpriced and e.l.f. has a dupe. There's no way e.l.f. could produce Italian technology like that. There isn't. I will actually buy those eyeshadows right now, or I'll text my e.l.f. friend and say, yo, send me those eyeshadows. But Miss Temu Orange Hands, y'all are the ones that gave her the fucking credibility to keep going. Y'all said, you're a big liar, but who cares? Keep raking in the money. You know, it is what it is. Miss Temu fucking Tan. The orange spray tan and that fucking filler is so awful. But y'all love to look at it. Y'all love to validate it and let her know that she's everything. I get asked a lot, Jeffree, why are you so bothered? Because I don't like people who are liars. I don't like people who compromise the integrity of the beauty community. Does she have a cool rise to fame story? Yes. And then it all went dark and negative. The more money, the more power, the more fame, the more views, the more viewers. Not everybody acts right up here. Lying used to be, when you lied, it would get you nowhere. Now lying gets her sponsorships and money. So it's a very weird world that we live in, Star family. It is a very weird world that we live in. And I think that it's okay to have a healthy, open discussion about the beauty community. It does. So yes, the Patrick Ta eyeshadow duo video will be up in a couple hours, okay? I will have it up in a couple hours. And then I will be at my retail store doing a shopping stream. I was mean. No. She blocked me because she respected me and she couldn't believe that I wasn't gonna go along with her fake ass shit. So she blocked me, I think like a year ago. Of course she did, because I called her out on all her lies. And liars hate to be exposed. But I have my own villainous past and I've made my own mistakes. So she was betting on not everyone taking me serious. She was betting on people, it's Jeffree Star, he's so controversial. But am I? Or is that just the perception that people have helped create over the years to try to disparage how truthful and honest I am? They've always tried to make Jeffree Star the villain, for being honest. Isn't that funny? They've all tried to make me the villain. And it's never fucking worked. It's worked to an extent. They've tried it. But baby, have they tried to make your bitch the villain. And it's never gonna happen. They've tried to make me the villain for fucking 15 years. Why? Because I'm honest. Why? Because I'm honest. I'm doing a video on Instagram, you guys, 1 second.
And we're back. Hi, how are ya? Hi, how are ya? Okay, so a couple things that I want to talk about with this this live deal that he did talking about Mikayla Nogueira. So apparently before these two clips, somebody asks him about Mikayla Nogueira, and that's where it comes out that he's talking about her. It's very obvious he's talking about her. He's talking about Lashgate, so we know he's talking about her, right? So let's talk about Mikayla Nogueira and Lashgate, first of all. I remember covering it at that time. Okay, so he says in there that she's upset with him for exposing Lashgate. First of all, I don't remember Jeffree Star being the first person to talk about Mikayla. I don't remember him being the 4th person or even the 10th person. I actually remember Jeffree Star being one of the later people to come out and talk about Lashgate, and talk about how unethical it was and things like that. I think, in retrospect, since I talk about Robbie DeChristie a lot, Robbie DeChristie came out even before Jeffree Star and addressed Lashgate. And she said she wasn't going to do a review because of not being vegan and things like that. I remember watching that. I remember everybody talking about it. I remember Manny MUA talking about it. I remember Jeffree Star talking about it later. And what I remember about it is, and I was going to pull it up and put it in here today, but I don't need to. What I remember was that he was very, very careful of how he spoke about Mikayla Nogueira. In fact, I believe in my coverage of talking about it, I even said that. I said, it seems like he's being very careful because he doesn't want to step on her toes, okay? Now, what's interesting to me about this is where the importance of drama channels exists, okay? Of how we remember things and how they actually went down. I don't know why this tripod, which I always refer to as my treadmill, is like going sideways. But anyway, because what I remember is that after Lashgate happened, of course, Mikayla never came out and addressed it. She still hasn't to this day. Around Valentine's Day, she came out and she said, let's address the elephant in the room, and then made a joke about it because she knew everybody wanted to ask her about it. And the response to that was an unbothered queen. Oh, we love an unbothered queen. An unbothered queen relating to she can lie about these lashes and get away with it and nobody cares. I do 100% agree with Jeffree Star on that, okay? The reason why she has kept it moving and she has continued to do sponsorships and reviews on shit that she doesn't know what she's talking about, she's never used before, okay, is because she was never held accountable. Because she kept the people that kept on watching her, because people don't really care about ethics and values anymore. We don't live in a world where people really care about that anymore. We really don't, you know? It's like I was talking about in my video the other day, we live in this outraged society. You know, it's so this issue is really important to one person, but this issue is really not. And so most people are like ethics in the beauty influencer space. We got so much shit going on in the world right now. I don't really care if Mikayla Nogueira is doing a review of something that she's being illegal about it because she's not given a true response to, or she's not disclosing an affiliate. I mean, I do my Jaclyn Hill FTC guideline. That was going to be my video today, okay? Because the FTC has come out, and today, okay, is the day that the FTC is coming out and they are saying, we're done. And there's actually places that you can report it, okay? That when you see an influencer violating FTC guideline by not disclosing, this is what a big deal it is. Now, I have been saying for the last 3 years, okay? The day is going to come when these people are going to pay the price, okay? Like Jaclyn Hill, like Toddy Westbrook, that still doesn't disclose affiliate links appropriately, okay? Like Mikayla Nogueira. The day is going to come when these people are going to have to pay for what happened, and they can be paid. They can be charged up to $50,000. I was just in a TikTok last night. I was just in an article today. It's huge news, okay? The FTC is saying we're done with these influencers, with their fake reviews, and they're not disclosing sponsorships appropriately. You know, I just did a video not too long ago where I talked about Whitney from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, that she did a sex toy that she said in the show that she hadn't used, and she disclosed it and didn't put paid program or paid placement or paid programming or whatever that thing is on Instagram. It's a complete violation. She could be charged $50,000 for it. And the company could too. And the company signed off underneath there with adding to the comments. So they were fully aware that she didn't do it appropriately. It's a huge issue, okay? And so it's interesting to me that Jeffree Star is coming out now and talking about the lying within the beauty influencer space on the heels of the FTC guidelines coming out. Now, Jeffree Star is somebody that through years has said, I'm not going to take a bunch of bullshit sponsorships, and I'm going to give you brutally honest reviews, and I'm going to tell you if it's Jeffree Star approved or not. So Jeffree Star is probably sitting back there right now going, you know what? Y'all can pay the piper, okay? Because I've taken a lot of shit for being evil for all these years, and maybe I am. He says in the TikTok, he says, you know, I've made mistakes. Yeah, I'm not the greatest person in the world, okay? But what he's basically saying is, but I haven't done this shit, okay? I mean, there are literally, the FTC has come up with self-reporting where you guys can watch a TikTok or a YouTube video. I mean, this is a big deal, you guys. That will be my video tomorrow, okay? This is a huge deal. For years now, people have said to me, well, if it was such a big deal, why wouldn't the FTC do anything? If it's such a big deal, why aren't they fining these people? If this is such a big deal, why aren't they charging these people? Okay, and I've said the day is going to come. I've said in videos, I've talked to attorneys behind the scenes that are working on all this kind of stuff. I've talked to people from the FTC, okay? And I've said in videos, they were focusing on Bitcoin. Then they were focusing on this. They were focusing on nutritional supplements. Now, this is their focus. They don't just one day wake up and go, we're coming for influencers. This is planning. You have to put a lot of planning into place if you're going to have a place where people can self-report who these influencers are. This is a huge deal, okay? And the fact that Jeffree Star comes out now and talks about Mikayla Nogueira, because this is not what I remember from a year ago when he was talking about Mikayla Nogueira. No. I remember him coming out with a very soft response to Lipstick Gate. I don't know if you guys remember it. I mean, he was Jeffree Star, but he wasn't like full blast on Jeffree Star. Then, if you guys remember this, okay, she went to Wyoming for a brand trip. Do you guys remember he reached out to her and said, why don't you come to my house and we'll do a video? And it was crickets, okay? She paid him no mind whatsoever. Because people are like, oh my God, Jeffree Star and Mikayla Nogueira are going to do a video together. I even did a video covering that. He reached out to her. He gave her an open invitation, I think in a TikTok, and said, hey, why don't you come to my house and we'll do a TikTok together? Okay, well, if you thought she was such a liar and you had blocked her, or she had blocked you, and she had such issues with you over telling the truth, why did you reach, if you guys were okay, why did you reach out to her? No, she blocked you after the fact. And I don't know why she blocked you. Maybe she blocked you because she was you were one of the people that were calling her out. But the thing is, she didn't block everybody that called her out. I don't think she blocked Robbie DeChristie. I know she didn't block Manny MUA. You know, a lot of people called her out over Lipstick Gate. She didn't block me. I called her out over it. And I know I'm not on the level of Jeffree Star, okay? But she didn't block a lot of people. What that tells you is she didn't block Jeffree Star over Lipstick Gate, okay? I'll be honest with you. I don't think Mikayla Nogueira gives a rat's ass about Lipstick Gate. I think that was marketing for her to companies that she is saying, hey, send me your shit and pay me $150,000 like he said, and I will sell the shit out of your stuff to my audience. And I don't care because I'm never going to address if I'm lying or giving an honest review or not. So when he says that in the TikTok, he's 100% right. That's the moment everything changed, because what she was teaching was, anybody can do this, okay? And it was around that time, and it wasn't because of Mikayla Nogueira, that you started seeing all this shit for sale on TikTok. It's like every second or third TikTok reel was just selling stuff, right? And so that is part of why the FTC is breaking down, because it's all just about sell. Let me put up one viral TikTok and then let me sell you a bunch of shit. Let me see if I can get a bunch of sponsorships, you know? And I love that Jeffree Star says in there, like, I don't live off of sponsorships, I live off my views. I think that we live in this world where people think that if you don't get sponsorships, you don't do well. I'm doing just fine, and I know a lot of people that are doing just fine off the views that we get. And I'm not even on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, okay? So for me, somebody that's doing numerous non-disclosed sponsorships or tons and tons of affiliate links a month, but can't even put out content to their audience, that's why they watch you to begin with, is greedy beyond belief, okay? And I do feel that way. And to me, it's like you have an audience that loves watching you, and you can't even put out a video unless it has 30 links in it, Jaclyn Hill. Toddy Westbrook's doing the same thing right now. I just saw Manny MUA. I was getting all these emails from Amazon, right? About Prime Day and this day and higher rate days as as a part of their influencer program. Because I am part of their influencer program. And I never hardly link anything. And so I get all the emails. And I was like, they're going to start popping out these Amazon videos. Sure enough, I saw Manny MUA popped out an Amazon video. And I'm sure I didn't even look. You know why? Because people are so done with me beating that dead horse. Well, guess what? The video's coming tomorrow. Because the rules have changed. And these people are fucked. They are fucked. Because I'm telling you right now, there are people out there that have had it. And I will let you guys know when you can report it. I won't be. That's my I'm a drama channel. That's not my job to report them people. Y'all can report those people all you want. You can look it up right now. How to self-report to the FTC on influencers. I'm sure that information's out there because it happened today. I think it happened yesterday or today. So anyway, it's interesting to me that he says that she blocked him after Lipstick Gate. I don't think that's true, okay? I don't think that's true at all. I think there's something behind the scenes that we do not know about that she blocked him for. That's the first thing, okay? The second thing to me is when he's talking about how she changed, this is where, because he says, something about, I think, she was worried about me because I'm so controversial, and she banked on the fact that her not being worried about me was banking on the fact that I'm so edgy and so controversial that people wouldn't take me seriously. And he's like, am I really that controversial? And then people in the comment sections that were watching it as it was going by were like, no, you're just honest. Girl, the problem is you're not relevant anymore. You're irrelevant. And you know that, okay? And this is your way to stir up relevancy. I know that. People that watch you know that, okay? You can't even sell out of your own products right now. And the sad fact is that Jeffree is right about this, okay? Jeffree Star is right about this. That the fact that she continues to lie and people don't care has changed the beauty influencer space. You know, I noticed it happening with the FTC guidelines. Jaclyn Hill had been doing it for a long time before Laura Lee and Manny started doing it, okay? Then over time, Manny and Laura Lee started doing it. And I think, really honestly, I do think Jaclyn has a huge part of that. And Mikayla. Because I think they're like, if they're doing it and getting away with it, and we're on a smaller level than them, fuck, we're going to do it too. We're going to do non-disclosed affiliate links. Why wouldn't we? So they started doing it. And I think Toddy Westbrook did the same thing. And people come to me all the time. They're like, Toddy discloses. She does sometimes, and sometimes she doesn't. And the scary thing about Toddy is, Toddy's come out and said, if it's sponsored, Jaclyn's in the same thing. I will disclose it. But I have noticed enough times that Toddy hasn't disclosed it. She puts it at the very, very bottom of a thing, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like, I notice so many people that don't disclose appropriately or put the sponsorship in the middle to the halfway mark. That has to be like in the first couple minutes of a video. You know, you have to hit paid placement in the corner. We'll go through all this tomorrow. But I think what happened over time was Toddy was like, I think if you can't beat them, join them. All these people are doing it. They're not getting fined. They're not getting affected by it. So why not do it? I might as well do it, you know? And I'm like, okay, girl, do it, you know? Let's see what happens. Well, the day has come. And so Jeffree is right. It's not just about irresponsible reviews or selling shit that doesn't really matter. He's talking about in there that this product that whatever, it's like, she says that e.l.f. is better. And he's like, I'll call it e.l.f. right now because that's bullshit. He's like, what do you call it? The recipe or whatever, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, of that brand is so much higher quality than e.l.f. Now, what's interesting about this is that Jeffree Star is somebody that has supported e.l.f. Cosmetics for quite some time. So for him to come out and say this, he's not dissing e.l.f. Cosmetics. What he's saying is, it's not on that level. So let's just be for real. She's obviously getting paid by e.l.f. to come out and say that. He's proving a point, right? Jeffree Star, this is the problem with Jeffree Star, okay? Jeffree Star wants to make it out like I'm the villain. This is where people would start listening to Jeffree Star, okay? If Jeffree Star would actually stop his shenanigans. If he wouldn't get into TikTok lives. I mean, I looked in there, people were calling him Pookie because he had gotten this TikTok live with this gal, this battle, and he was calling her a bunch of fucking Pookies, and Pookie this and Pookie that and shut your mouth and all this kind of stuff because she just asked if he muted her, okay? Well, Jeffree Star has never learned, all right? He has never learned. And what he's pissed about is that Mikayla Nogueira gets away with all the lies. She gets away with tainting the beauty influencer space. Because it's a new day. She gets away with non-disclosed affiliate links and non-disclosed sponsorships. But Jeffree Star, through the years, has been held accountable for each thing that he's done. Okay, well, to some people, to most people, I think, I'm not saying that it's right, but I would probably agree with this, that a non-disclosed sponsorship is probably not as inherent of a shitty person as somebody calling people derogatory names about their physical looks, their race, their gender, things like that, okay? Which Jeffree Star has been accused of that, and we know that. So, and he continues to not change, okay? I mean, I just did that video a month ago where he's going off on this woman. So Jeffree Star continues to I mean, it's just 2 months before that, he was going off on another woman, calling her a bunch of drunks and stuff like that. Jeffree Star continues to be this nasty person. So if Jeffree Star 3 or 4 years ago had really changed, maybe gone to some therapy, done some work and actually taken a look at himself, instead of said, everybody wants to paint me as a villain because I'm telling the truth. That's not the truth. Okay? In that moment, you can't even tell the truth. Everybody paints you as the villain, which they don't even do that. Everybody paints you as a shitty person because you talk to people and you treat people in a shitty way. Okay? Including your past friends. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve it. I'm just saying that you haven't been the greatest person on the internet, Jeffree. And in the early days of MySpace, that paid your bills. But it's a different day today, you know? And you just can't seem to get out of that somehow. People would probably take you a little bit more seriously if you weren't continuing to cuss people out in TikTok lives, come for people, no matter if it's you know, rightfully so or not. Okay, but if you weren't speaking that way to people, people might listen to what you have to say. But the people that love Mikayla Nogueira aren't going to listen to what you have to say because they're going to be like, well, just a month ago he was going off on women on TikTok Live. This is about, he doesn't like women. Or he doesn't like women that are more powerful than him. Or he doesn't like this, or he doesn't like that. And there's a history of that, Jeffree. There's a history with you, and that history hasn't changed. And, you know, this is why through the years I've said, you know, when people get on there and they go, I'm a changed person. You know, it's the apology. I'm not that person today. I don't know who that person was. Well, that person has never left the room. Because you continue to show that that person over and over and over again. People would listen to you, Jeffree, today. They would actually probably even listen to you about Mikayla Nogueira. But you haven't changed who you are. You haven't demonstrated that you've changed who you are at all. People don't even have to go 10 years ago to pull up receipts on you. They can just go from 2 months ago or a month ago because you're still doing that stuff. So it shows that you haven't changed. So you're not necessarily an expert on who's somebody to follow or not to follow. So even though you come out on a TikTok live and you go, I've made my own mistakes and whatever in the past. Okay, well, it's a little too late. And I agree with a lot of what Jeffree's saying in there. She did change the beauty influencer space. She did. And now Jeffree's sitting back and going, watch, it's about to all unfold, okay? And I ain't gonna be fined for shit. But you all are gonna be fined for shit. And basically what he's saying is, Mikayla Nogueira, she changed the beauty influencer space. It's about to change again. And what he's saying is, okay, those people out there that are not lying, those people out there that have some integrity are probably going to be the people that are going to rise to the top. There is no way, there is no way with the FTC coming out and making it, they're going to make a point, okay? They're going to make a point of what they're doing. And so the FTC coming out, when you have people like Mikayla Nogueira that's at the top of her game, who do you think they're going to be looking at first, okay? They're not going to be looking at Susie Jones that's got 1,000 TikTok followers. They're going to be looking at people like Mikayla Nogueira. Those are probably the people that people have been reporting already. Why do you think they put a self-reporting thing up? Because people have been reaching out to them forever asking how do you report. There has already been years ways to report people, okay? Not just influencers, but companies. On and on and on. Not just in the beauty influencer space, but in any community out there that is governed by the FTC, okay? You know, and they're not going to go to jail for it, but could they be fined for every incident $50,000 or up to $50,000? Absolutely. I mean, with any of these people, I mean, let's just say they're fined $10,000, which is in the lower level of that, okay? I mean, you have Jaclyn Hill that has 20 videos up with 30 Amazon links, and each one of them that's not disclosed appropriately per the FTC. How much money is that? I don't even know how much money is that, but if she charged that much money, and then Amazon, let's just say if Amazon's charged on top of that, so Amazon's like, oh no, because they've been putting emails in place, and they're like, okay, well, she just can't sell her shit on Amazon anymore. And then YouTube, if they get fined, that's why YouTube started the influencer. So now YouTube has an affiliate program, okay? I haven't even signed up for it yet, but it's completely legit. You just find the products and they link at the bottom of it, you know? And so YouTube has their own affiliate program. The reason why they did that was because they saw this coming. Everybody's been seeing this coming. I've been talking about it for 3 years. People are like, this is not that big of a deal. Oh, yes, it is. And I've been saying for a long time it's a big deal. And it's about to happen, okay? The next 6 months is going to, you guys are going to see things drastically change. The FTC is done. They are done. This is their target right now, okay? This is going to be the next year. I said in a video not too long ago, and I didn't even know this was about to happen. I said, I think this is going to be the next Armageddon. I do. I think you're going to see channels, YouTubers, influencers, Instagrammers, TikTokers. I think they are going to be heavily fined, and I think they're going to lose their platforms. TikTok could say you're losing your platform. You've been selling your shit over here. Now, they could find TikTok. They could find YouTube. It's against terms of service, okay? So if YouTube is like, they're not putting paid programming, which I have in many videos got on here and said they didn't put paid placement on there. They didn't link it the way they're supposed to. YouTube could be, for letting that video stay up there, YouTube could be fined for that. TikTok could be fined for that. Instagram could be fined for that. So if those places are fined, what do you think they're going to do with that? Well, they might say, you can't have a platform over here, you know? We saw that happen with kids' videos and family channels a while ago, and it's still happening, right? If you didn't disclose appropriately and do it the way, I mean, every video that I post, you have to put on there, is it made for kids? All my videos on all my channels are marked, not made for kids. So if something like you violate that, you can lose your platform. So they could lose their platforms. Do I think that'll happen? No, I don't. But I think that we'll start seeing it either disclosed appropriately or we'll see a lot less Amazon links. It's a big deal. So Jeffree Star coming out and talking about how she's a liar. No, I think he knows. I think there's word on the street. I think people have already been fined. I think he already knows. Jeffree Star is not stupid. He would not come out and talk about this unless he already knew what was going on. But it is interesting to me how he paints this picture that she blocked me over the truth. It's always like, this is where I just wish Jeffree Star could come out and like, I don't even think he has the ability. He talks about the truth. I don't even think he has the ability to be honest, okay? Because this is where he would earn a lot of integrity from people. If he came on this TikTok live and instead of saying all this kind of stuff, say, you know what? I have a history of talking to people in a really shitty way, of having racist allegations in the past. People still say I use that language, blah, 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 whatever, okay? You know what? I have been a shitty person. He said in there I made mistakes. It's basically the same thing. I know just 2 months ago I went off on a gal on TikTok live. I'm trying to be a better person, okay? It's not a perfect curve. We are a perfect angle up. We make mistakes as we go. I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to be a better person, you know? I don't want to be this person anymore. And so I'm working on that. But while I'm working on that, I'm noticing all this other stuff that I haven't done that other people are being held accountable. So today we're going to talk about Mikayla Nogueira. And you know what? I didn't go that hard on her for Lashgate, and I probably I should have for her audience and for mine, because I've always given honest, Jeffree Star approved reviews. And yes, I did go hard on her, but I didn't go as hard as I possibly could. And yes, I did invite her to do, a video with me because I thought, let's mend fences. She's the biggest on TikTok. I'm the biggest on YouTube. Let's mend fences. But I didn't do that, okay? And I don't know why the gal blocked me, but I got some things to say about it now. People would admire him and respect him a lot more, but within his truth is woven all these lies and no accountability. You didn't just say, well, I made some mistakes. Okay. Calling somebody a derogatory word one time and it slips out of your mouth is maybe a mistake, okay? 10 to 30 times over the course of 10 years is problematic, okay? Continuing to do it after you've made 2 to 3 apology videos that have gotten millions of views is not even problematic. It's a pattern of behavior, and it's proven that that's who you are at some point, okay? And that after all of that, of being how you talk to women and how you view all this kind of stuff, you're still in live streams 2 months or a month ago, still talking to women that way, kind of proves that it's not just a mistake that you made through the years, that you obviously have some issue with women, okay? And you obviously have some issues with other people in your life, because it continues to happen and continues to come up and people continue to call you out about it, right? So, I mean, why make the apology video if you're not going to stick to it? That's what I don't understand about it. So it's hard, because it's like, I agree with a lot of what Jeffree's saying in here, but Jeffree's not the person to be saying it at all, And that's kind of the thing, is it's like, through the years, like when I started in the drama community, it was like, there was a lot of problematic shit going on, but there were still, people out there that had some integrity. But now, it's like, nobody really has integrity, It's like my dad said to me years ago, once you sell out your integrity, you can never get it back. Well, none of these people really have integrity anymore. Not on some level, they don't. I don't know. It just makes me sad. I miss the days of Gina Marbles. Or is it Jana Marbles? Jenna Marbles. I miss the days of Jenna Marbles, making a 2-hour apology over getting the wrong tank for a fish. I miss those days, right? I mean, you talk about accountability. She could teach a class on it. She could teach a PhD level class on that, Girls trip for life. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.